Hey, boys and girls, weather report for July 19th, 2021.
Woohoo! We made it.
Yay! Oh, shit, the summer's just slipping away on me. So before we do anything...
late in the summer, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we're right in the middle of it. This really
hasn't been that bad of a summer so far. We've had rain at least twice a week, I think, for the last couple of months. And August may be another story, but you know, it's usually starting to dry out a lot this time of month.
We have a drought, we've had some rain, but we've been drier than we have in 30 years, and I don't know why. And it is hotter in northern Minnesota than it is in southern Minnesota, and I don't know why. That never happens. They're always 15 degrees colder in the Arrowhead than we are here, but this is weird.
So what are you at now? Like 90s, 80s?
Yeah. So before I say anything else...
That was a question.
Oh, what now? Oh.
We're talking about the weather. Yeah, that was the question. Are you in the 80s or 90s right now?
Oh, actually, you mean the temperature? We're in the 90s. Like
Yeah.
High 90s.
Okay.
But it's even hotter up north. It's been running like 4 degrees. And then one day they had 103 up there, and the next day they had 36 degrees.
Wow.
It's like, okay, that was quite a jump. That, I don't know, may have taken 2 days to get there. They may have transitioned through 60 and 70 to get to 36, but it was pretty wild. But before anything else, I was on Wild Eden stream. What goes around comes around. The concept of karma with Ren-Cheng Hughes, and he couldn't show up today, but he's showing up next Monday. So we're going to do it again at 3 p.m. Central next Monday. And I put a link to the stream we just did with Simos and Wild Eden in the video description.
Now, I missed about the first 15 minutes of it, and I know I can go back and watch it, but did y'all differentiate karma in the phrase, what goes around comes around? Is that kind of a distortion of what karma means?
Well, Wild Eden never talked too much about reviews on karma, but so I did. I talked too much, actually. So I explained a lot of my secular Buddhism, I think, sort of in a nutshell, and we talked about addiction a little bit and stuff like that. But I'm thinking that the idea is to wait till next week until the special guest shows up, because I think he's an American Buddhist monk or so, as far as I can tell. But anyway, so there's that. And let's see, what else did I have? There's a whole bunch of stuff actually going on. A little bit on Cell Cordova, and not so much on Cell Cordova, but basically there's this McClean Bible church, which I put a picture of. It's a pretty humble church, if you saw the video description. I mean, that's a nice little country church there, isn't it?
Yeah, just an old-fashioned, old Four-Square Gospel, probably. Baptist church or something. Yeah,
I think that's a $150 million building, and it has classrooms, and the lobby is about as big as your average mall.
You think there's a shelter for the homeless in there somewhere?
I don't know. They might have one, but
maybe they have one. You would think like a dorm for the unhoused.
They have enough room.
For $150 million, yeah, you could probably spend a little bit of money for a dorm for the unhoused.
Yeah. But here's
all
the
those
thing.
people would give 10% of their income to the church. I'm sure that covers something like that.
Yeah, I think Sel said, I think at one point he said they had $1 billion in assets, but they have 100 and he said 110 and 150, but I think he's talking about just the value of this church. But McClean, overall, there's about 5 churches like this across the United States. This one is close to the D.C. area, and this is the one whose mission is to influence Congress. So, but the interesting thing is that there's a great split in this church, and there's also a great split with the Baptists. And I don't understand all the ins and outs, but they were having an election, and I don't know what the election was about even, because
I've heard of like splitting your pants or splitting the restaurant bill and everything.
I think it's like that.
Have you ever heard of a church splitting? I've never associated the two. Wow.
Well, this is more like the splitting you would do if you had an axe and a block of wood, and you were to bring the axe down with fury onto the block of wood. I think it's that kind of splitting. So it's more of a wood splitting kind of thing involving an axe. And
they also have like some UFC stuff going on inside too, like especially during like the voting. There's a little bit of UFC fighting going on in there, and
UFC.
Yeah.
I love it when a fist fight breaks out in a church.
Yeah. There's been a few of those.
There was
that happened yesterday.
In Little Rock for years, there was a Church of Christ that would always make the Weekender page or the front page or some page in the local newspaper because 2 deacons would get in a fist fight on the parking lot over control of something, and it was just always so lovely.
Yeah, so there's yesterday they had a vote, and Sel did this countdown for like 5 days or 7 days until this vote happened, and I guess a fight did break out there. There was some sort of a fight they mentioned, and they had the vote, and the vote didn't go in their favor, but now there's all kinds of legal challenges. They have to, 80% of the people voted to keep the current pastor or something like that, and they needed what was it? They needed that to be less than 75% for a vote of no confidence to get rid of them. So it didn't go their way, but they have hope that they're going to reverse this. Now, the whole deal is over this pastor named Mike Kelsey, and he did this video podcast a while back where he said, sometimes I get so angry I want to torch all white people. And Sal clipped that little piece out of the video, just like he clipped that little piece of me saying, that we're evolving to get dumber. He is the master of cherry picking, and he played that little clip over, I think, about 5 times in one of his streams. And so this is the big controversy that he was talking about Black Lives Matter, and he was very angry because somebody else had just been killed by the police. And so he did this 26-minute podcast, I think, and that was where he said that, that infamous line, torch all white people. And they were kind of implying that he was saying that he should burn all white people, when 2 sentences later, because I listened to the whole podcast, he said he changed it to, I would, what he meant is to harshly use words on them, right? To basically yell at white people is what he was saying. He wasn't talking about lighting a match under them,
right,
or sprinkling gasoline on them. But then right before that, he said he was talking about how that was a racist thing itself that he was thinking of doing. That he was, basically he had to look at this from a biblical perspective and keep tabs on himself because he was so filled with rage. As many African Americans are filled with rage, right? Because they've been accosted over and over again. But anyway, so the whole podcast was about the peaceful solution to these problems and how he wanted to take a biblical approach And Sal clipped that video out about him torching all white people and made him look like some kind of an extremist, right? And anyway, that's one of the reasons why they want to remove him. Well, the other reason that I heard is some of these pastors are saying things, horrible things. They're saying that the sin they concentrate on the Bible, and I mentioned this before, is sins of pride and greed and those kind of sins, not sexual sins, right?
Right.
And now there's a whole other class like Emery Moyna, Dorkoff, who is just like,
the word class, like quotes or something.
What's that?
Would you say the word class is in quotes or something?
Classes?
I don't ascribe too much class to him.
Oh, okay. Yes, definitely in quotes. But anyway, Emery Moyna, I mean, there's this whole group of Christians that are absolutely obsessed with sin. And what they mean by that is sexual sin, right? They're obsessed with it. They think about it. Like, they don't just think about, if they see a gay couple, like if I say a gay couple, and God, forgive me for the things I say out loud in the next 5 minutes, but if I say a gay couple, because I am extremely heterosexual, I do not think about them having sex. I think about, hey, how's the weather? What do you want to talk about, right? I have a conversation with them. I see them as people.
Right, yeah.
I don't sit and dwell on what they do at night.
Yeah.
And in fact, if I see a heterosexual couple, I don't want to hear them tell me about, or I don't want to think about their sex lives. That's none of my fucking business.
Yeah. I don't think about the sex lives of married couples like that.
No, or anybody
either. Yeah.
Right. It's like, I don't want to fucking know what you're doing, at night. So anyway, but there's a certain class of Christians that seem a little obsessed with sex. And in fact, in the video yesterday that Sal did, but he was talking about, you don't want to you don't want to go to these places where some woman gets drunk and comes on to you. It's like, okay, there's a whole lot to unpack there, Sal. Do women only hit? Yeah, he said some woman gets drunk and hits on you. Number one, a woman doesn't have to be drunk to hit on you. I don't know where that came in. And number two, why would that offend you so much?
Yeah.
I mean, like, most of us guys would be a little flattered, so I don't know. But so anyway, he said that. But anyway, this is so much.
If you don't want to associate with the person, you just politely turn down their invitation to whatever, whether it be to go find a booth or to have a drink together. It's no big deal.
I know, but I don't know if you listen to this whole video, you get the context of what, I can't remember the context, but he was talking with Emery Moyna about going to certain places, that you want to go to safe places where women don't get drunk and hit on you. And I'm thinking, interesting.
I don't think Emery has to worry about that.
I don't think he does. No, nor Sal. Well, maybe Sal. He's kind of a good looking guy. But anyway, let's see. What am I doing here?
How about this whole woke thing, right? They're against.
That's the other thing.
That they're against the woke thing, right?
Woke,
right?
Woke,
because woke is kind of more of like a progressive type Christian, where they accept homosexuality and whatever, that type of stuff, right?
Yes,
it's more acceptive with everybody, like
right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be woke, right? And then and they're against that.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Just
have
that all straight. Yeah.
To me, woke, when I first started hearing the term, meant being aware of and acknowledging social injustice, such as treatment of people of color, etc.
Right. That too.
Now it seems they seem to have hung around homosexuality.
Yeah, they added. Yeah, I mean, they use that injustice. That's almost like a way to hide it. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like they use that as the main purpose of it or whatever, but yet they smuggle in all the other stuff.
Yeah, it's just a buzzword to them.
Right.
It's supposed to bring outrage in their
Right.
camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is also embedded in this group of people that they're trying to cast out, that they're pushing back against. They are what they call woke individuals. They also call them goats.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a derogatory Christian term for people that are heretics, basically, is near as I could figure. And it's just so there's, but anyway, the interesting thing is, like, okay, we had 3 churches in Mountain Iron, Minnesota, Lutheran church, Presbyterian church, and a Catholic church. And they were kind of like, they would have picnics together. They weren't fighting. And inside of each of these churches, there was never a movement to get rid of the pastor for, he did, horrible things. I can't remember any of that. And it was, and I'm thinking maybe they should get rid of this gigantic $150 million church they have, give the money to the poor, and create a bunch of smaller churches and just go to fucking church.
Well, the thing is, even with smaller churches, the further south you go, the more church strife I think you're going to hear about, because there's plenty of it in Arkansas, in Texas. I can testify to that directly. And I'm sure it's just all over the place, even among middle-sized and smaller churches. They just split off like, dare I say, viruses.
But I mean, smaller churches would be a lot easier to split, or you'd be less likely to have to split, right? Because if you had a bunch of smaller churches, then you could all go to the church that preached what you liked.
Well, that's true. But then again, it's also about control. So some families will butt heads, and then one family will start going to another church, or they'll get a pastor behind the idea of splitting and starting a new church just down Main Street where the Chevrolet place used to be, or whatever.
Yeah, and Sel actually made a good point early on in his broadcast. He said that, there's $1 billion in assets tied up in this. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal, this splitting of the church. Because if they split now, how in the hell are they going to split those assets, So, but anyway, the solution, Sel, is smaller church. You don't need millions of dollars to have a church. You really don't. I don't say, but they also have a political agenda. Anyway, I posted that Mike Kelsey podcast, and you should listen to it. He sounds like a really nice, thoughtful guy. And if I had to go to church, I would go to his church, because I like I like the way he came across. I don't know, just me, atheist. What the fuck do I know? So anyway. You want to go to church with Smokey Saint? Ooh, that would be a scary proposition. I wonder if he gets up in church and yells about trash clowns and
calls the lady whores.
Yeah, all that stuff. Oh, and what else do we have here?
I am just amazed on how their religion just makes them behave. It really is astounding that.
Yeah.
It makes, what is the saying? It makes good people behave badly, or I mean, would you call them good people? Yeah. I don't know. I guess so, but whatever. Their behavior. It's amazing.
Well, for me, all the talk about salvation, redemption, transformation, hope, etc., they just don't act any different than any normal human being. And they try to turn that into, well, that's true, we're just human beings. But no, you make a claim that you have a Holy Spirit that changes you and gives you patience, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Yet you don't make a difference.
Yeah.
And you're it's empty words. And you know what? If somebody finds transformation and hope through a different way, then just, that's fine. Have at it. Or if you don't believe in any gods and you find transformation and hope and want to even spread it around a little, that's fine too. They're just no different, but they want to have all the power in the country and all the social and cultural influence.
Yeah.
And that's just not good.
I mean, the big thing, like you said, they feel special, right? They're made in God's image, so now they feel special. So, and then that becomes, now I'm better than you, or I'm better than this group because you don't believe the way I believe, or you don't have the same moral grounding as I do, or whatever the case may be. And those things just cause all that other baggage to come along with it, because they feel special. Then now they're better than you, and then they act that way, and and it just breeds all that.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that one of the things that they're mad about is this idea that the real sins mentioned in the Bible are that of pride and all of that that self-aggrandizing aspect of judgment of other people, right? I mean,
Right.
It isn't enough for them to just sit in a pew with a group of other human beings. They have to know what those other human beings are doing in their bedrooms at night, and everything else that goes with it, and judging them, for basically judging the person next to you, and it's just there is. We all get caught up in that. It's really fun. Like, I'm sure we've all had the experience where you have a family or loved ones that there'll be one person in the family that's just fucking up big time, right? And so everybody gets together and starts talking about him, and Peter, he's just I don't know what he's doing. He's wrecking his life. We got to fix it. All that's bullshit, right? And it kind of feels good to do that. That's the whole gossipy, judgmental part of what us primates do when we get together in a circle around the fire. We sit and we judge, people who aren't around the fire with us, right? And there's a certain, that is a character defect that is sometimes hard to give up. This gossiping, of course we're gossiping about Sal right now, right? But it's kind of the same thing, and we're picking on Christians, so we're kind of doing the same thing in a way. So I don't know, throwing stones in glass houses, is that what I'm doing? But I guess where it scares me is when the church gets that big and claims that their purpose is to influence Washington with this bullshit.
Yeah. To violate the Second or the First Amendment.
Yeah, and I really don't give a shit until it comes down to legislation and fighting. They're really fighting this transgender stuff in schools. And for some reason, if you look at I got another link for this McClean Bible controversy, where they're talking about what is it called? Race theory, critical race theory.
Yeah.
How they're teaching it in schools or putting it into schools. And what do they mean by that? Do they mean that they're teaching the actual history of this country and what we did to black people in this country?
Well, that's what they'll ultimately object to. But I think critical race theory is a thing, but it's taught at the secondary level.
I don't think you teach it to grade school kids.
Yeah, you don't teach it to grade school kids. You don't teach it to high school kids. It's just an approach to history. However, if in history class you mention slaves and how they were treated, or Asians, how they were treated in the West, as well as other older parts of the country, then the people who have influence over the Board of Education in a lot of these places get really upset, or their parents get really upset. And they say, "Oh, you can't teach critical race theory." Well, that's just history. That's just bad things happening to people because of institutional and cultural racism.
So, who is Bond? He's a theistic evolutionist.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he holds on that.
Okay, well, he just said that. He said he.
Oh, he did?
Well, he said I'm a theist. I think he meant theistic evolutionist.
Yeah, the theist evolutionist. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that book.
Okay, yeah.
There's that book that came up on a stream the other night. I forget who. I think Dessel brought it up. He was talking about. Oh no, it came up in the discussion on the video that we. It was a discussion session of the video we did on Saturday. Okay, and Dessel was talking to R.J. Downer about this author. I forget what his name was. I'm gonna have to go find out.
Something about an ancient Earth or ancient world.
It was about, let me see here. Okay, it was under naturalism and philosophy. Let me go there, and I will be with you in a minute here.
So you, Speed, you brought up before, you kind of, I didn't want to interrupt you, but a second ago you brought up the influence in government. And that was elaborated on even more so, I think, in the stream that you have up right now. Is this Sal's stream that you got on?
No, this is
that's different. Okay.
This is stated casually with Jon Perry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good video. He's doing part one. He did a critique of a section of a stream that Raw Matt did with SFT, and just really took apart their objections to endogenous retroviruses, I think is the term. And he just did it was very compact and powerful. And of course, he had animations. I don't know if he did the animations or someone else did. I think he did. That really showed how the viruses work and things like that, and what they do to prevent other viruses like them from invading a cell. And so it was just pretty cool. I really liked it.
Okay, the thing I was looking for, this Del Rass wrote a book called The Battle of the Beginnings about creationism and evolution.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I bought it on Kindle for like $5.
Is it historical in nature, or is it like
yeah, historical and the philosophy of the two things? It was very interesting because you know how Tangelo and a few others will say, well, there's this absolute dichotomy. Either you believe it happened through random chance, or you believe in the Christian God, one or the other, right? And he was explaining toward the end of the book, is explaining how that would be basically the dichotomy would be either it happened through natural means or it was something supernatural. Okay, that is a true dichotomy. But what they do is they add other things to it. They add restrictions or a particular kind of deity, and then it is no longer a dichotomy. Now there are multiple options, and he explains that really well in this book.
interesting?
But anyway, it was Dessel Drace, and Dessel Drace kind of liked the guy, and R.J. Downer thought he was wishy-washy. But anyway, I'll see if I can link the book in, if I can find the book. I will. Well, I'll just link the name of the book and stuff like that. But anyway, it looks like an interesting read. I forget when it was done. Anyway, so there's that. What were we just talking about before that interruption?
I think we were about to get into the Stated Clearly video, or is there anything else about theistic evolution that came up that you were going to talk about?
No. So, and I want to make a correction. You said raw Matt. It's actually raw meathead. Or no, it's actually raw Matt the fruit bat.
Yeah. Jon doesn't seem to understand in this video that the guy is Raw Matt or Raw Matt the fruit bat or whatever, because for some reason Raw Matt had his name on the screen as Matt Man.
Yeah.
And so whenever Jon kept saying Matt Man, I kept kind of cringing because I knew it was Raw Matt. But I'm kind of glad for him that he doesn't know too much about these people.
Who they are, right? Exactly.
Yeah, it's like wanting somebody who's innocent to stay innocent,
Yeah.
And untarnished by the world.
Yep. But I believe I linked this in the description already, so that video's there. Oh my goodness, what did I do? Oh, I know what I did. Okay, so that this video is linked. I don't think we'll play any of it. It was 17 minutes long.
Yeah,
Unless somebody,
he basically dealt with two topics in the video. So
yeah, he
one
just
was,
dealt with the question that the fruit bat asked about endogenous retroviruses. It was, let me see, what was the question? You remember the question?
how could a virus do something
Oh,
to its own kind?
right. It's
Which was
yeah,
a weird way to say it. It's basically, he doesn't know anything about
evolution.
biology or evolution. Yeah.
Yeah. How would a virus evolve to kill its own kind or something like that?
Yeah.
And basically, which has, it's like, well, first of all, viruses don't sit around and think about their social tribe. So, but there are viruses that will inject themselves into a cell and they'll start to create a protein that goes to the outer membrane of the cell that keeps other viruses out. So there's a number of different mechanisms that viruses have developed to stake out a territory in a cell and say, hey, get out of here, this cell's mine. That sort of thing. But he was kind of wrapping it into endogenous retroviruses, and Stanley and the fruit bat are very, very confused about endogenous retroviruses. They're confused because some of them have been around long enough that they've actually mutated to provide some function for the cell, but very few of them, most of them are just out there. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything negative. They're not doing anything positive. So like maybe 1 out of a million retroviruses have been found to have a function. And those retroviruses we can see because they're also in primates and all other mammals. We can see that it goes back a long way. And endogenous retroviruses scare the shit out of creationists, right?
Now, I do have a question about ERVs. Is it true, am I recalling correctly, that we don't have any endogenous retroviruses in the human genome that that are after the separation of chimps from, or the chimp ancestor from the human ancestors?
Yeah, I don't think we have any new ones.
Okay, so they all go back till before that.
Well, I don't know that. Okay, this is
Okay.
something I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But I think if you look at primates overall, you will find that some have viruses that others do not. So there's some evidence that viruses have popped in later. But you could do phylogenies on them. I wish Andrew Cumming would come in here.
Ooh, maybe he ought to. This is a scientific subject.
Maybe I didn't send him a link, but maybe he knows about endogenous retroviruses. That is a big subject, and I would have to review all my material. I was ready to talk about them about 2 weeks ago, but now I've forgotten half of what I wanted to talk about. But it's a really interesting thing because you can see, you can actually trace phylogenies in these viruses, and you can see, estimate when they came into the mix and how they replicate. And they replicate a lot. In fact, in your lifetime, it's happening right now to all of us. They are duplicating. They are jumping around and inserting themselves into our DNA. And a lot of us could possibly die from that. That may be the end of our lives. We may get cancer from this problem. So, I mean, it happens quite a bit.
Interesting.
I don't want to scare you guys, but...
Well, now I'm never going to sleep again. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I had a question I was going to ask about that, but never mind. I'm sorry. It came into my head and went out.
Yeah, that's probably heads.
Mm-hmm.
Leaky fucking heads.
Oh, I guess the question I had was,
do you hear that pouring?
Who's pouring?
I am.
Okay, no, I did hear it, but it didn't really bother me. And
good. I hate myself
about it till now.
I should have muted. I should have muted.
You kind of distracted me from that. So the main reason why Christians don't like, or creationists don't like it, is because of its implications for ancestry. Basically, we come from apes. Or
Yeah,
we are apes, and we come from a older common ancestor than chimps.
yeah. If these viruses have nothing to do with the wellness of human beings, then why do we have the same virus as some of the primates if we're not related to them? In other words, if there isn't a natural benefit to these viruses, so it is so their obsession is to convince us that all of these viruses are functional, that every single little piece there was put there by God, and he put it there to, for some clever reason. And their case is very weak. It's the same as many of the other cases they make. They'll come up with paper after paper, which means they come up with 3 papers that have found 3 viruses, or 3 areas in the genome where a virus has mutated to have some benefit to humans. And they'll say, oh, obviously they all do, right? If these 3 out of a million do, then obviously they all have a benefit. So Andrew, what is your take on ERVs, or is that not your? Have you looked into the phylogeny of those things?
Not particularly, but I did want to say something on something you just said right now.
I say something wrong?
Yeah. Oh, am I echoing?
No.
Oh, I thought I was echoing. Basically, you were saying like how they find free ERVs and prove they have function, and then generalize that to other ERVs. And to me,
Yes.
this seems to be a generalization for creationism trope
Yes.
they often use, where they're like cherry picking and all that stuff, but like
Right.
it kind of is silly, is what it is.
Every time we find a pseudogene or a function for a pseudogene, and it gets upgraded from the class of pseudogene to an actual gene, they scream, "Oh my! We found 1 out of the 13,000 that are functional. So obviously they all are. The other 12,999 are just waiting around the corner to find the function for them."
Right.
That's why they.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, that's why they appeal to this new narrative of theirs that modern science is proving creationism, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, exactly. Like one professor I've talked to put it this way: ask a creationist, if I were to, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but like, show a creationist a paper that says, we believe this, darn it, I forgot what he said. Hold on one sec.
Okay. We'll give you a second.
Okay.
Proving that it isn't just us old people who forget what the fuck we're talking about. So, you youngins forget as often as we do. It's just nobody notes it. Not entirely true. The older you get, the more full your brain gets, and the more you overuse each neuron, and you tend to lose things easier. And the only reason that old people like me lose things easier is because we know more than you youngins. I'm pausing to let that sink in.
Yeah, it's profound.
Yep. If my brain wasn't so full of fucking facts, I wouldn't lose them as often as I do. There you go, youngins.
Can you ground all those facts?
Can
you have a grounding for all facts?
Leads to God.
That would be a
right.
Darth Dawkins question.
I ground them in each other. I ground them all as one, a massive network of fact, a network so thick that you couldn't possibly get through it.
Yeah.
So we don't need no stinking grounding. Are you back, Andrew? Or are you still looking? No, he'll unmute when he's ready. What, Scott? Okay, Icarus, what?
So remind me at the end of this, I'm not going to give you it now, Speedo. I got a video that you can go over and it'll probably give you some material for tomorrow. I think you're for tomorrow's weather report, I'm sure.
Okay.
But I think you would be the best qualified. You could watch it, and I'm sure it'll give you some material for tomorrow.
I am back.
This is Icarus's contribution. Dark sense of humor can be a dementia warning sign. I think, my God, I better rush to the doctor.
We're getting an ambulance over to Stephen King's house immediately.
Yeah, this has got to be an Onion article. Early sign of dementia.
He doesn't state his source. Do you notice this? He just gives a photo.
Right. That looks like a National Enquirer magazine. Well, let's just plug that into Google. Okay, Andrew, you ready?
Yeah, I'm back. Oh, did you want me to say my thing?
I did want you to say that.
Okay. So what I was trying to say but failed to say because I forgot was basically, so we gave the example of bicep 2 results that claimed to provide evidence for cosmic inflation, but of course once they found out that the paper that made those claims was that it was flawed in some respects, they kind of took it apart and the paper was soon retracted. And then the part I want to share was he says that creationists never do this. I defy anyone to show me a group of creationists that say, we believe A. This peer-reviewed paper claims to prove A. We think it's wrong and doesn't prove A.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense. It's confirmation bias. I don't know. I just wanted to hear it. Yep.
So here's the article. Dark sense of humor could be an early sign of dementia. Julio, 88, a patient with Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia and a former civil engineer, poses for a photograph inside the Alzheimer Foundation. He obviously has a dark sense of humor. Look at him. That could be early warning signs. My goodness, my sons have it too. Appeared in Journal of Alzheimer's, which carried out the okay. Dr. Clark recruited 48 patients with frontotemporal dementia from their dementia clinic. Asked to rate their friends' relative enjoyment of different kinds of comedy. Mr. Bean, Monty Python, yes, Minister Darkly. Dementia patients preferred slapstick humor to satirical when compared to 21 healthy people. Interesting. So we prefer Benny Hill. So we have dementia? Is that what I'm reading here?
Slapstick is dark?
I guess so. These are, but yeah.
I don't know what his definition of dark is.
Okay, completely inappropriate humor, well beyond the realms of even distasteful humor. Where's John Peterson? Oh, he's in the chat.
Yeah, he popped up right as we were reading that.
Oh, these are marked changes, completely inappropriate humor, well beyond the realms of even okay, yeah, I read that. I forgot that I read that I have dementia. Oh my God, Dr. Simon Ridley.
Is Mr. Bean considered dark?
I guess so.
That's just not the right category, I don't think.
I don't know what category he's in. Mr. Bean is in a category all his own.
Yeah, his physical comedy. It's almost like slapstick. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, who knew? Yeah, I can see, well, the drunken uncle, at Thanksgiving dinner comes up with all these, starts saying inappropriate things at the table. I see where they're coming from. Oh, that's a happy sound.
Also, speed.
Yeah.
Speed.
Yeah.
Speed.
I'm here.
I was just messing with you. Cecil is in the chat.
Good job. Dark humor is like food. He's in the chat. I know he is.
Can we let him in?
He's wrong.
Well, I'm wrong on some things.
You know what I like? Dark chocolate. Now that's food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to let everybody in
Oh,
right now.
I'm
put it
sorry,
up.
everyone. I derailed the stream.
Yeah. Letting everybody in, including...
Actually, didn't Icarus derail the stream?
I think Icarus did.
Kind of did.
Yeah, with the dark humor thing. Yeah, anyway, I call bullshit on this. I can see where they're coming from, but...
I just don't get their... this is kind of the problem with psychological studies like that, or I guess this is neuropsychology, is they just seem to be ill-defined half the time, and I'll bet nobody's going to be able to repeat it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think this study is supposed to. I don't think this study should be taken seriously.
Well, you got to look at the actual study. I'm guessing that it could be like if a person starts to develop, all of a sudden changes their whole humor style, and they start saying inappropriate things. Obviously, that's a sign of dementia or Alzheimer's. I mean, we knew that. They decided to create an article about.
Maybe we should take a look at the actual study rather than a Pop Science article.
Yeah, we could. I could look at that.
That would be the way to go if we were wanted to do that. But that would be the way to go.
Well, I could try that. But they don't often link the damn study. Oh, in this case, I think they did. No, they didn't. The original article was in the Independent. So they give you the original article, but they don't give you the link.
Well, maybe the Independent had the original study.
Well, here's the sign of dementia. Canada to open U.S. border to vaccinated Americans in August. That's a sign of a slipping mind.
So if I get a passport now, maybe I could go live with Randolph up there in Canada.
Why would you want to live with Randolph? Like a legitimate question.
He's the only guy I know in Canada.
He's building that nice studio.
He's the only guy I know in Canada.
Oh.
Yeah, and we're all moving in with him.
Well, you know me. Never mind. I'm from America.
America, the great.
Well, the not so great.
Well, actually, we do pretty good here in America. We have it so soft compared to other people. Not everybody, but a lot of people have it pretty soft. Except, I went to Sam's Club this morning, and do you know what? Fucking fish is like $25 for a chunk of salmon. I mean, what in the hell? It's like prices have doubled in the last week.
Yep.
How are we going to afford to feed ourselves? What the heck is going on? We're going to have to start eating that Chef Boyardee that I threw away last week. A friend of mine brought me a bunch of canned goods, and part of it was 2 cans of Chef Boyardee, and I threw them in the garbage because I couldn't give them to a food shelter in good conscience.
Yeah.
I mean, really, could you? Who would do that?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Off topic.
Oh,
I did some packaging. I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm just going to mute myself.
Oh, does anyone know who Robert C. is? I don't remember him, but I want to find
Robert
out.
C. You all know me enjoying the show as always. I'm not sure.
He visits every now and then, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Hey, Robert C.
I don't know why. For a second, I thought it might be Rob Carter.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah.
Hey, is that you, Rob Carter? Because I wanted to have a conversation with you at some point.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I think I once reached out to him. I don't know. The kindler, gentler speed of sound wants to talk to Christians and creationists on my channel. I just want that to be known.
Yeah, well, they don't want to talk to you, though. Or at least one that I know.
I think because I have a dark sense of humor.
Yeah, I think that's what it
There
is.
you go.
He's the man I won't even mention. He's very upset. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he's just because. Okay, it turns out Benny Hinn is a minister. Did you know that?
No,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Benny
Yeah.
Hinn?
Oh,
Yeah,
that.
Benny
Oh,
Hinn.
yes.
Yeah. So that,
My apologies, Robert.
not Rob Carter. Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just thought that for a sec, but I didn't think it was.
Yeah. What a nasty accusation.
I'm sorry.
We're sorry.
You know, they're right. You did give Robert C. a wrench at one point.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Robert has a wrench, as he should. People with wrenches are the protector of my channel. So Smokey got bounced because he called me a moron, and then he did a thing on his channel where he was talking about I don't know why they don't have me on.
Wait, when did he get bounced? I must have missed that.
Oh, that was last week sometime. He called me a moron, and somebody Iron Charioteer timed him out, right? So because of that, he's talking about how ridiculous that was and how we're an echo chamber, and he's not gonna he unsubbed, and then he said and then he says, I don't know why they don't have me on the channel. Well, maybe, you fucking moron. The reason we don't have you on the channel is because the first comment you make is Speed is a moron. Maybe that's why. I don't
Is
know.
it just me, or is most of what's on YouTube nowadays an echo chamber?
I think so.
Okay, he didn't. I don't think he called you specifically a moron. He said he said you wouldn't want to make. What the fuck did he say? Might need to go back and see it, but he said you don't want to debate Maddox because you'll make yourself look like a moron. He didn't call you a moron specifically. He just said you make yourself look like one. There's a difference.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want you guys timing people out unless you check with me, because I don't get to capture the chat, so I don't get to see what he did say, so that I can make my own assessment of what he said. So
yeah, this is why deleting comments isn't good unless it's Mars or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you were right about
warn
that.
me, I can capture him if you warn me.
Yeah, you were right about that, Midnight, because I thought he did call him a moron at first, and then I went back and reread it again, and then actually he said what you said. He would look like a moron if he debated him. So
see,
anyway,
there you go.
you were right. Yeah, you were.
Yeah,
right
I was right. Midnight was right. Keep a tally.
I don't know where the hell you got the idea. I didn't want to debate Maddox. I want to debate Maddox and Sal Cordova. I think Immutable and I.
I mean, that could still. I mean, that could still happen.
That is a challenge. Modern day debate. Immutable and I against Maddox and Cordova.
Really? You want to go to modern day debate?
Yeah, bring it on.
Okay.
Hey, it's John.
So,
that would be a good
as
debate,
I was coming in, can I just say that is a distinction without a difference? Calling someone a moron or saying, if you do this, if you take me on, you're going to look like a moron. That's calling a person a moron.
Yeah,
Not really, John, but I don't
No,
feel
it really
like
is.
I don't feel like
No, midnight. Stop. Okay.
You're right. Moving on. I don't care.
It is calling him a moron because he was saying, if you debated me, you would be a moron. Okay, so he's calling him a moron. I mean, it's
okay, John, you're right. You're right. Moving on.
I don't give a shit if you're just saying I'm right because you're just telling me what I want to hear. You're wrong. It's the same fucking thing.
All right, cool.
Oh my goodness, my browser is acting up.
Speed.
When I click something, what? Yes.
I think you need to clarify this for Leo. He thinks you're debating Maddox.
Yeah. No.
Oh no.
But he would like to. He would like to.
No,
Leo.
we want to. We want to, because we've been building up for like a year almost to this debate between me and Maddox and me and Sal Cordova, and but
they're going to be on
evolution.
And
wait,
I don't know.
Sal, you're going to debate Sal?
I want to debate Sal. Yeah. Let him.
He's too chicken.
Yeah, I know they both are. They're just little scaredy toddlers. Yep. Scaredy toddlers. Oh, yeah. I was also listening to a conversation between Immutable and Maddox, and I was fairly unimpressed with Immutable's contribution to that conversation.
What contribution?
Yeah. Immutable's on vacation. He's vacationing with his family for 3-4 days. So he is going to be off the tube for a while. As he should be, because he doesn't seem to have any common sense about whose stream he goes on. Right?
This might be something random I'm going to say, but did you all know that we're, in a sense, just tubes?
Could you say that again?
We're tubes? In what sense?
In a real sense. In a real developmental sense, we are tubes.
We are tubes, yeah.
Tubular, baby.
Yeah.
And what separates...
Tubes?
Huh?
We're meat tubes? Is that what you're saying?
Meat tubes. Yep.
Yeah. We're tubes with stuff growing out the side of it, and that's what we call a human being.
Yeah. I think about that sometimes when I'm like sitting down eating. It's like, why do I have to do this every day? I'm above this, you know?
Okay.
And it's like, what,
oh, sorry.
why do I have stuffed food in my mouth every day?
I think it's
'Cause
what
you wanna
comes
live?
after. I think it's what comes after eating food that's more horrible than eating. Like, why do I have to take a shit every day?
Yeah, but that's where it starts. It starts with putting it in your mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how it's going to turn out, right?
If you guys want to stop eating, turn yourself into cyborgs. There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah. Well, I could do what the fruit bat raw mat does. He's almost stopped eating.
I mean,
We can become breatharians.
Yeah, breatharian. Yeah, I want to be a breatharian
Hey,
because
John.
I'm above all this organic bullshit.
I thought he was a fruitarian. He ate only fruit.
I guess so. Yeah. Raw mat, the fruit bat.
I had a pop quiz question for y'all, especially John.
What is it?
Bring it on.
Okay, Speed's probably going to know this already, but there's one group of animals where what's called the blastopore, an indentation forms, and the first hole from that indentation that forms is the mouth, and then it cuts through the rest of the embryo and forms the anus on the other end. Whereas in another group of animals, for the most part, the anus is the first hole that forms, and the mouth is the second hole that forms. Now, do you guys remember which one of those groups of animals we belong to?
The asshole forms first.
The asshole forms first.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I often tell my twins that when the egg divided, one of them, the older one, the one that's 4 minutes older, he got the asshole.
We're all born assholes.
So, is it a dark sense of humor that makes our minds go to the asshole part first?
Yeah, exactly.
Which means we
Yeah.
all are going to get dementia.
Okay, Scott, I wouldn't put too much weight on that, honestly.
Yep. So how did the fish anus switch places with the fish urinary pore? Is there any information? Sal Cordova is always going on about, oh, look at that. How did that happen? I don't know how that happened or where that happened. What do we know about that? You know the fish anus thing?
No.
That would be
The,
something I would have to investigate.
It's
How about
okay.
this? How about this? Why don't all the holes in us heal over?
Heel over?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, because like if I get cut, it heals over, but then I have all these holes in my body that never heal over.
This is a fact.
Yeah. I mean, does anybody? I'm honestly asking, is there like some gene that takes care of that, or some enzyme we have, or what is it? Why?
Well, if you cut both sides of your butthole and stick them together, I'm pretty sure if you waited long enough, they might get pretty stuck together and heal together if you did that. But you're welcome to go ahead and try that, John.
That's funny, but that's not an answer to my question.
Because there's because when you have a cut, okay, on both sides of that cut, okay, there are actually little organisms that crawl across that cut and form scar tissue and sort of pull it in. And they're actually like amoebas, and they start to heal you. And I don't know much more about it than that. But that's creepy enough. But when you cut yourself, basically, both sides are cut, right? Not just one side. Whereas, your mouth has epithelial tissue all the way on the inside of your mouth too. So it's not going to grow together because it hasn't been wounded. But I think if you get a wound, like a severe wound and two parts stuck together, I think they may well heal together. But you understand they wouldn't do that because when you cut yourself, there's all sorts of defense mechanisms that are set up to repair that cut. And it's a very interesting process. And I read about it a long time ago. It has a little bit to do with these little cells that actually crawl across. They're mobile. That's probably why a cut itches when it's healing. Think about it.
I really wish I had microscopic eyes so I can look at my own skin and see all the creepy crawlies on here.
Yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
Eye spots?
What?
You want eye spots?
What are those?
Basically microscopic eyes.
I guess.
Okay, turn yourself into a tardigrade.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't allow me to be immortal, then yeah, fuck that. Immortal,
No,
indestructible.
They're
Yeah, they
not
are.
immortal.
Well, they're indestructible.
They're not immoral.
Put a tardigrade next to one of its predators. Is it immortal then?
They're biologically immortal. Do you want me to
No,
put
they
that qualifier?
They're not
No, they die.
immortal.
They're not immortal. They're,
All right,
they're
moving on.
pretty much indestructible. Because everyone says they're immortal, but they really aren't. So I just want to harp on that.
Yeah, I agree with Andrew. They're not immortal.
Andrew's wrong.
No, they're pretty indestructible, but immortal would mean...
Andrew, I'm joking.
There is actually a species of jellyfish, I think, that can transition between different life stages. So in that sense, it's immortal.
Yeah, until you cook it, but the lobster is basically biologically immortal until you cook it.
Oh, so one of the criticisms leveled against this channel is that we'll mention some dumb thing that John Maddox said, but then we only just go into it at a very light level. We don't go deep enough. But of course, this is the weather report.
So John Maddox was trying to say he likes it deep.
Yes, that's what he was saying. He wants it deeper.
Okay.
Well, that would be a part of the material that I was going to send you for tomorrow, but
okay.
Why do we want to go deeper if there's nothing to go deeper on?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go deep on superficiality.
Okay, you see the fish here? The butthole and the urinary bladder are reversed in position in fish, but not in mammals. And Sal Cordova and Dorkoff were laughing and saying, "Oh, how did they switch?" Basically. And
when?
Yep. When?
Well, in that sense, wouldn't this be probably the ancestral state?
Yeah.
I say probably because maybe it just evolved in fishes and didn't go that way, or it stayed I guess. I wonder what we could use as an outgroup to study that.
Well, okay. So what are the fishes that are most closely related to us now? Like a paddlefish, right?
Okay.
What does their anatomy look like?
I don't know.
I have a friend who, partner in a company, and he goes by the name Paddlefish because he knows he's a molecular biologist that worked at the University of Minnesota on paddlefish for a long time, and he knows more about paddlefish than he wants to know.
Here's a weird fish fact. Did anyone know that sharks don't have to most sharks actually don't have to keep swimming in order to breathe?
So it's a myth, urban myth.
Yeah, it's only true for some sharks, namely the ones that live in deep ocean water where they can't rest on the sea bottom. Anyways,
I'm looking for paddlefish anatomy.
yeah, I really want to figure this out now because if we can find we need to find a group of 3 to figure this out. We can't just use 2s because that's what creates this mistake for phylogenetics.
Yes. Oh, let's see. Paddlefish and overview. Oh my God.
I wonder, can you find something for coelacanths?
I could try that. My browser.
So, I mean, what's the gist of this, though? Is that they brought this up because they're saying because the anus and the reproductive organ are switched, that at some point in evolution they had to go to the order they're in on us because we say we came, up the evolutionary tree from fish.
Could not have evolved, in hundreds of millions of years from fish because their butthole is reversed.
Well, that's just for modern fish. This is why saying we came from fish, for example, is kind of erroneous.
Right. Yeah, well, the word fish is considered erroneous now, right?
Yeah, it's paraphyletic if you want to consider just all the ray-fin fish alive today, but in that sense, tetrapods would also be fish. So then the term fish is kind of meaningless codistically.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find coelacanth anatomy. I'm having trouble finding fish anatomy in general. I wanted to dig a lot deeper into fish anatomy.
How they're talking about the anus and the urinary tract being reversed here, but so how do they account for the fact that their anus seems to be right in the middle of their face?
I don't know.
Because all the shit that comes out of it,
is that a sign of a dark sense of humor?
There was a couple of comments.
I've already admitted I have dementia.
There's a couple of good comments in the side chat about that. One about Mad Ducks and the Free Thinker comment that was referring to that.
Went to gay bars to experience that kind of depth. Let's see, which one are you referring to?
Both of that one you just read, yep. And then the Free Thinker one, the other one. He was,
But cheeks were connected as one, but to the urges of cell cordoma mimics.
That's so funny. I can't even
Yeah, that's basically paraphrases what John just said.
Yeah, that's I figured that's why I mentioned it. Yeah,
another case of dementia on the chat. Yeah. Anyway,
great minds think alike. Free thinker.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find coelacanth anatomy, and really difficult to find it. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to go search papers and figure it out. But yeah, coelacanths today are not living fossils. They have evolved for quite a while.
Yes.
They just look a little similar. But
the term living fossil is a loaded term. And it's actually funny. I saw that same term in the museum I visited on vacation, and it kind of disappointed me a little bit.
Wasn't there a graphic you showed not too long ago, Speed, of like butterfly that looked the same after millions of years?
I might have, yeah. But the thing is that there are a lot of species that evolve at different rates, basically, or there's a lot of I shouldn't have said species. There are a lot of ancestral lines that evolve at different rates, and it has to. Yeah, I was talking about the size of was it a lungfish that has a huge genome, and these huge genomes evolve slower because they have so many duplicates of the same proteins that they basically develop in the same way, because they have the chance of a mutation across all of, like, for instance, if they have 10 copies of a gene, the chances of all 10 of those genes mutating is extremely low over, a certain period of time. So they'll evolve slower. So onions basically would probably evolve slower than into something else than garlic would, because the onion genome is so large.
And another thing is that something can evolve extremely fast biochemically without evolving much more morphologically.
Yeah.
Like nematodes, for example. That's the example I was given once.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not finding a lot on this. They notice that, so we're going to have to investigate it. We're going to have to dig in. We're going to have to figure out why the bud is in the wrong place.
Let me ask you guys this, ones that know about this shit. All right, so say when the Earth was formed, that the entire Earth was covered in one uniform environment. Would that have
Pudding.
Would that have stopped or made evolution a lot less than what it was, because there was no environmental? So that, if populations of biology separated, they would still be encountering the same type of environment. So would they have changed?
They would have just changed at a much slower pace. Yeah.
Right. Drifted.
Yeah.
I mean,
because
they
you can't
could
get
have
rid
been
of
bred.
because in this scenario, are we assuming that there's still mutations, for example?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
still
if there's
mutations.
mutations, then there's going to be mutations in some form each generation that are slightly better than the previous ones every once in a while.
Did you see his previous comments, Speed? I see you sharing one of Lucky Seven Wolf. Did you see the one right above that?
I did.
Like that.
Some shit like that.
You know what always gets me riled up is how, like, they say, take that atheist or take that Evo atheist, and I'm like, atheism and evolution have nothing to do with each other.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
one can correlate or not correlate, compound on the other, I guess, for lack of a better word, but like they're not dependent on one another.
Right. There are atheists that deny naturalism.
Right.
So.
Yeah, a lot of creationists are aware of that. They just say it just to, be arrogant and piss atheists off.
Right.
Because there's been many of them that have admitted that. So, I know it doesn't have anything to do with it. Well, then why did you say that?
I like how they pick one famous atheist too and act like he's our pope or something, that we all think like that person does. Like,
yeah, that was brought up about Darth. That that's basically why Darth started using Dawkins as his his name, and evolution false and that kind of thing. Like, he thinks that Richard Dawkins is our pope or whatever.
Yeah, that's
going way back, but
yeah, that just reminded me. I was watching a TED video today about the Dunning-Kruger effect and how it's almost impossible to get rid of, but how, like, we probably already noticed as a group, but like the more knowledge you gain, the less apparent the effect is over time. So you can never truly get rid of it, but because it's just part of the human psyche. But you can decrease its effects by keep on learning, basically.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Speed is so far ahead of a lot of us other boomers, is because he continues to learn. And that is something that fights against the aging of your brain.
Yeah, it's amazing how, like, I've watched a number of the elder members of my family go through the process of hurting themselves, like falling down, breaking something. If first of all they stop exercising, then they break something, then they end up sitting in a chair doing nothing for a long period of time, and then pretty soon they've got dementia or some other thing going on. Then they're in the nursing home, and then they die. And it's like, I'm just wondering. I mean, there are stages, like when you get old, it's really difficult because if you don't like keep very, very active physically, you'll start to break down. I'm feeling it now at 70 that, things are, and some people develop arthritis, or like my mom, she hurt her feet, so she couldn't exercise anymore. But it's just like that physical decline ends up turning into a mental decline, a decline in the kinds of things that they do in their lives that would stimulate their brain, right? And then all of a sudden your brain shuts off, and it's almost like, like the sea slug has a brain and it swims around until it finds a rock to perch on. And then the first thing it does is it dissolves its brain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It actually eats its brain and then becomes more of a vegetative, it's more like a vegetable.
That's a paradox that's of life that is, it's hard to get out of it. Like, okay, because the older you get, and your body is aging and everything, the less that you feel like doing things. But the fact of the matter is, the older you get, the more you should be doing things, whether it's exercise or exercising your brain, socializing, all that. And yeah, I've seen that, what you described, many, many times in my life, to a certain, because I was convinced when I was a kid, I was convinced that, when I got to 50 or 60, I would just naturally start wearing polyester pants and bow ties and, eat supper at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon and then watch TV the rest of the night, because that's what I had seen older people doing my whole life.
Well, I quit going into the mosh pit because I'm older. I don't body surf anymore. I mean, there's a lot of shit.
But I mean that I don't know what the real value in going into the mosh pit and body surfing is. That's not the kind of activity.
Oh man, no,
people to do.
John, the mosh pit is where it's happening. I mean, you're not at a concert till you go to the mosh pit and fight your way all the way up to the front of the stage. I mean, that is a way to do it. I don't know if you knew that or not. Very important. Okay, would you be proud of this paper if this was your one paper that you had published, getting to the bottom of anal evolution?
Speaking of adoption humor.
Yeah, I was going to say that title can't be an accident. Somebody purposely named it that.
We summarize current knowledge of gut morphology, its development, and the underlying molecular mechanisms of the alimentary canal of the bilateria. This might be the answer to our great question from what's his name? Doofus and Dorkoff? Anyway, I mean, instead of sitting around... Go ahead.
No, all I was going to say is that, what would prove intelligent design to me is if instead of having an asshole, our back ends were like they were in the Coneheads movie, where you didn't have an asshole, you didn't defecate, your body just recycled the methane and all that.
Right. Morphology, development, and evolution of the opening that makes the one-way gut what it is, the anus. That is a fucking amazing line, isn't it? I would love to be the author of this paper. He had more fun with this than he should have.
I can't see it. Can you read it again?
Oh, the review. This review focuses on the morphology, development, and evolution of the opening that makes the one-way gut what it is, the anus. That's pretty fucking good.
Well, for some of us who used to drink, me and Speed, it's sometimes it's not just a one way.
Yeah. It goes both ways.
So,
in fact, I have a cure for alcoholism. You give them 20 beers, and then you get them to drink a half a bottle of slow gin, like right away. Invariably, he will end up in a restroom, which is porcelain and white, and he will be vomiting pure red. And he will look at that and think, I'm fucking dying. It's like, and he will quit drinking. And besides,
I've got a cure similar to that. I've got a cure for overeating. I just don't think any doctor would ever do it. Is you go to your doctor and have them transplant your taste buds to your asshole.
There you go.
Then everything you eat winds up tasting like shit.
Yeah. Or the human centipede, that works too.
Oh, God.
Anyway, okay, let's see. Yeah, this looks like a paper worth reading, doesn't it? I'm going to see if I'll link it in chat so people can go hunt it up. Okay, I think this would be a start. We need to figure this out, Andrew.
Okay.
Is Andrew away feeding his dogs?
What?
Oh,
no, I already did that.
You did the dogs? Okay.
I'm glad you're so conscientious about taking care of those dogs, man.
I know.
I am. Take care of them dogs.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some space stuff, seeing if there's anything interesting I want to talk about.
Dogs are highly evolved species that are made to have expressions on their face that make us humans want to pet them and feed them and give them snacks and take them out for walks and play ball with them.
I don't know.
I mean,
I have like a relationship with my cat and any dogs I've had in my life. But at the same time, claiming that they have expressions on their face that convey something, that's like an anthropomorphizing that animal. I mean, they have emotions for sure, but like to say you can read it on their face, I don't know about that.
Actually, I think there's some recent research that indicates that dogs have evolved with us in the last 10 million years to have basically facial expressions and there's a little more to this than we know. I mean, they pulled it off, and they seem to be, they're very similar to primates in a lot of their emotions and things like that. And I had a St. Bernard, and he laughed. It looked like he was showing his teeth. And he would also shake his head and get, I called it getting snuffly. But, and I would play tricks on him. And he'd be hunting for me, and he didn't know where I was and didn't know where I was. And then all of a sudden I'd pop out from behind some place that he didn't expect. And he'd shake his head and he'd curl his lips up and get all snuffly, like he was laughing, like, oh, good joke. You got me. It's like, I swear I was not. And I mean, you got to observe them a little more. There is this thing, this anthropomorphizing, but I think it's been over applied to the animals that we live with. I
mean, and to kind of clarify what I was saying now after listening to what you said, like, I think that a big part of it is if you have a pet, if you have an animal, and you do accept the fact that some people, are naysayers of that the animals do have emotions. They can be happy, they can be sad, they can be, this, that, and the other. But if you have a pet for long enough time, you get to read your pet better the more time you're with it,
Yeah.
and know how it's feeling. You know, basically, like my cat doesn't walk into the room and say, "Hey, I need this," you know, like, but I know, you know, like I know when his water dish needs more water. I know you know, when he comes in and when, for whatever reason, I guess it's time to clean the litter box. You know what I mean? Like, it just, like, I don't know what certain way he looks at me or what it is, you know, or.
Top Dog has a little video here that he shared. Well, let's check that out. I'm afraid of copyright strikes now, so.
Yeah, Top Dog knows how to get us those.
Yeah, the dog is high-fiving, kind of. Well, my raccoon high-fives me when I go to the window, and if I put my hand up, he puts his hand up. He doesn't know what the hell a high five is, but okay. Rare disease, reverse posterior cloaca and congenital. Okay, so there is a genetic condition apparently where you have them reversed. Wow, how does that happen?
Yeah,
With God's perfect design. Oh my. Rectourethral fistula and rectobladder neck. God, we don't want to read about that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
yeah, it is the dinner hour in some regions of the country.
Yeah, no recto fistula on this channel.
I mean, you know what that sounds like? Rectal fistula.
I know. I know. We're just. Oh, here's a PDF for that. There's a PDF available. Oh, well, maybe not. Oh yeah, download full PDF for that anal evolution thing. Anyway, we'll start looking into it. We'll solve this problem. The thing is, how did that evolve? Basically, always has a lot of stories behind it. So, and of course, yeah, they will point out that they are stories, but nevertheless.
Yeah, you got to know, man. The real stuff is God, you know, did his genie blank and made everything. It wasn't no evolution.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we got to do some more. I think the next thing we got to look into is ribosomes and translation, and the codons, and why there is a code and what it means that it's a code. And some people will say, no, it's not a code. And other people, like myself, will say, yeah, it's a code. And because here's the definition of a code. And also, that relates to something called biosemiotics, which Nephilim loves to talk about, but he knows nothing about it. Anyway, so we should do another, David and Scott, another learning hour or whatever, and go through some things.
Sounds good.
Someplace.
So,
cool.
in all your looking around, you didn't find like an actual diagram of another fish that had them in a different order?
I couldn't find any diagrams of fish in general. I mean, diagrams of anatomy of fish are very difficult to find for some reason.
I hear fish are just really sticklers for their brand on social media, so you may not find a lot.
Yeah, okay, that's probably it. You probably get a copyright strike. I'll probably get a copyright strike for showing that picture.
Jesus, Benghazi. That's the kind of stuff you talk about on first dates?
First date topic. No.
He's one of those dark sense of humor guys.
Okay. If you're not successful at dating, I think maybe this is the place to start looking at why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that's like you meet somebody and go on the first date, and you're sitting there at dinner, and the first question you ask is, "Are you into anal?" I mean, that's what the hell?
Nope.
Did anybody see the battle with Neff and Math Pig that was just the other day? over the weekend.
No, I missed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody was asking earlier if Neff had done anything. I think it might have been Andrew. If Neff had done anything lately.
It wasn't on Neff's channel. It was
on Math Pigs?
No, it was on Tangelo's channel.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they went at it for quite a while. They were battling.
Let me see, the God Talk?
Neff was just being an absolute douche. More so than normal, basically. Yeah. He was probably drinking, I assume. But yeah, they went at it for quite a while.
Do you happen to know
that's saying something, Dave.
Do you happen to know which one it was?
More so than usual, being a douche.
His newest one. It was a long stream. It's like a 4-hour stream. He did. I think it was like Saturday. Why did you want to look at it?
1 day ago? 2 days ago?
Yeah. It's very recent. Yeah, only within the past. I think it was. Was it Saturday? Let me see. I'm trying to think when it was, but
okay. God, sort by date.
Did I hear Neff?
Yeah, Neff got in a big battle with Math Pig.
Oh, Andrew's getting excited.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was
He
looking
wants to get
something up,
tied
and
up
then
in Neff's basement again.
Yep.
I was just reading something, and then I heard Neff, and I was like, "Huh? What? What's going on?"
Yeah, because you were asking about Neff in live chat not too long ago, half hour ago.
Yeah, it's just I'm on his I'm on the Intangelo site right now. That's not.
I got it. I got it.
It's the live chat one, the 4-hour stream there. Yep.
Yeah, I'll throw it in.
So were you saying Otangelo and Neff were going at each other, or
no? Math Pig joined in on that stream, and Neff was on there. Math Pig. Yeah, there was. Let's see, and there was. There was a Christian on there that. Oh shit! I can't remember his name now. And he was kind of battling, saying, like, kind of pushing back on, on the way Christians behave and talk to people. I think he's one of these guys that I don't. I think he has his own channel and he likes to have good conversations with atheists type of thing. Likes to have
the sinner saved by grace. That guy.
Yeah, I think so. Is it? Yeah. He's a bald guy.
I don't know. He just has a picture, an icon with a guy with a beard and sunglasses.
No, let me go.
The Mad Ox was on that stream too.
Yeah, Mad Ox was on there. Yeah, that was like I said, it was a long stream.
Why is it when you go to his channel and you click on videos, it's like there's one that starts out, it says it was like a day ago and 2 days, and then all of a sudden it jumps to like the last video was 2 months ago or 3.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing anything. He hasn't been doing anything. Yeah.
Do you know why?
Yeah, why?
That's his Darth Dawkins episode. When he started hanging out with Darth, he quit doing his videos.
Yeah.
Really?
Now he started up again.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah.
So which one is it that you guys have been talking about? The one that says open mic live chat intelligent design?
Yeah, it's like 4 hours long, and this. Yeah.
And it's 4 hours long. It's got 97 views.
Is there anything live right now?
I don't know. I gotta check my phone.
Or because I didn't know Otangelo was doing streams lately.
He just did 2 of them apparently.
Yeah.
I mean,
the other one was the mirrored one. That was a mirrored one that he did for his debate with that guy. Remember the big fight he had with Darth? That was basically they're falling out over that with that J.L. Warren. He had the debate with him.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Darth really went in on him over that.
Yeah.
Math Pig is live right now. But
look, if you're gonna be for intelligent design and you're gonna do like an open room about intelligent design, don't you think you should spell it right in your title?
Oh no. Yeah, he did spell it wrong. Oh well. It happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, like far be. I mean,
Who is Math Pig, by the way? Oh,
Math
sorry.
Pig? Oh, you don't know Math Pig?
No.
Really? Wow.
He's let's see, I think is he from Ireland? Ireland,
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
And he has some pretty cool shows, and he's very interesting. And
Yep.
we don't talk about him enough.
Yeah, an
Yeah.
evolutionist.
No.
Yeah.
Atheist.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll put Math Pig's channel in the put it in the chat for you, Andrew. You should check out Math Pig. He's having a live reaction stream right now. Currently live. Everybody should go over there. Yeah, get off this channel. Go watch Math Pig. He's better.
Leo's asking for a link. What link you asking for, Leo? I don't know which one. The Math Pig one where him and Neff go at it, or I don't know which one, because we're talking about a whole bunch of different things here.
He might mean StreamYard. I don't know. Where's Leo? How about a link to link to which video? I did put a link to the video. Didn't I?
Which one is that? Which one you just put there? Is that Math Pig?
To the Otangelo and Math Pig argument.
Oh, I thought I put it in there already. That's it. I just put it in there again. So, yeah. You got it now, Leo.
Yeah, that was pretty good. They, like I said, him and Math Pig, Neff and Math Pig went at it for a while. There was a few good things, and Mad X jumped in there too and was battling with an atheist, some guy. I don't know who he was.
Oh,
another guy. I can't remember his name either. No,
I love Maddox's content. I love watching that man fail.
Yeah, that was a long battle in there, on that stream, and then I'm gonna send you another one. I'm gonna send you one. I got the email kind of half done. I'm gonna for tomorrow.
We can do tomorrow. Okay. So send it to me and I'll check it out.
It's all about basically the timeline on how basically speciation occurred from the flood on.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, Maddox never talks about that, right? I mean,
no, it's hard to get them to talk about their timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that fucking ironic though, too? Like, I think I mentioned this the other day that they want to say evolution's not true, but yet they accept all the diversity that supposedly occurred, from the flood on with one ship full of animals.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what the conversation was about.
Yeah, I think when we pinned SFT down on the Neanderthals, I think it was something like 600 years after Noah's Ark. We already had Neanderthals, and their entire life, the entire span of the species was 1,300 years. So they basically changed into the shape of the form of Neanderthals and lasted for 1,300 years and went extinct. So,
and notice that too is when you try to get them to talk about the timeline. Of course, they try to avoid that, and of course you put in the dinosaurs. Okay, where did the dinosaurs fall into all this? And they never want to talk about that because it forces them to admit that dinosaurs were walking with man. I mean, even Ontangelo has said that he believes that, but they,
but how long did they walk with man?
You have to force it out of them. They want no part of saying that out loud, but they do every now and then when you force them to.
Considering that the next person that can get Otangelo to say yabba dabba doo is the winner.
So we had 1,600 years before the flood that dinosaurs could have walked with man. And then we had, how many years after the flood did dinosaurs walk around? Well, wait a minute. There's nothing about dinosaurs on Noah's Ark. So did they make it that far? I don't know. They must have, right? They must have.
Some people have said they did, certain creationists have said they have made that comment. I mean, look at Matt Powell. Matt Powell said that they were shooting dinosaurs during the Civil War. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Maybe they took dinosaur eggs on the Ark with them.
Yeah, it's something.
They were
I
talking
mean,
about it.
what are some of the swimming dinosaurs, like a plesiosaurus? Or
Yeah. They would have stayed in the ocean while the fountains of the deep were shooting up and all that stuff. So I don't know, but yeah, it's a good idea, and it was really fun when Standing for Truth, when he was brave enough to come on my channel, we pulled it out of him. It was like pulling teeth, but we got him to come up with a timeline for Neanderthals, and he didn't want to do that, and he hasn't been back since. I'm just saying. I don't know if that was the reason why he hasn't been back since, but probably.
Put a nice comment in John's Mad Ducks. He does his community page thing. He did another one, and I asked him one. Yeah, I put in the comments section. I asked him when he was going to put his satellite dish on his truck that he's living in.
What did he say?
And I said, your new house on four wheels doesn't seem to have internet service. I want to know when you're putting the satellite dish on so you can start streaming live, because I'm missing those live streams. I didn't get a response on that.
No response?
No. I got a couple people that did the like button thingy on it, but that's about it.
Okay, the mental dungeon that is atheism.
Yeah, that one.
I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah.
the mental dungeon.
It's a mental dungeon. Us atheists just want to sin, and what they mean by sin is have sex with people, I guess.
And I was upset that Maddox was talking about that post, and he didn't mention my comment. I was kind of upset.
So, which is really the mental dungeon?
We're checking into it right now.
I think deism would be a mental dungeon before atheism would be.
Boy, this is slow. My browser, Google Chrome, is starting to hog all kinds of memory. I can only open like 500 or 600 tabs, and it starts to slow down the computer.
Something tells me
That's it.
that. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Andrew.
I was just going to say, something tells me LPP doesn't understand the difference between being open-minded and being gullible.
Okay, the more interactions I have with atheists on YouTube, the more I am beginning to pity the sad mental state which is the result of atheism. He is so much more intelligent than us, and so much more, he is so learned. It is extremely ironic that, insert caveat, there's always exceptions. The vast majority of atheists place themselves in a dank, myopic mental dungeon which forbids exploration of thought beyond the material. Oh, like, what the fuck would that be, John? Thought beyond the material.
I mean, that's like... I mean, it sounds like he's describing himself, for Christ's sakes.
Well, that's why he lives in a truck, because he doesn't think about the material enough. Anyway, let's see. Why is this ironic? Well, given the fact that most, insert caveat, there's always exceptions, atheists claim to be intellectually superior to theists, to strictly rely on the scientific method and only consider sound and valid logical arguments, the actual approach by most is the polar opposite of these claims. For example, if you insist that I am wrong on subject X, but freely admit that you don't understand what is being argued, then you're either being, incredibly stupid or so arrogant in your mental dungeon that basic critical thinking has been deemed unnecessary. Well, John, give me an example.
Well, okay, so look. So basically what his argument is that each and every human being on the planet should be an expert in every field of study, because you can't look at, okay, so I'm not a scientist, so somehow it's wrong of me to look at the avocation or the vocation of science and see what their general consensus is on a host of topics, and decide to trust them, or to borrow their word, have faith in that group of people, by not blindly necessarily agreeing with everything that they say, but to, look at it in a cursory fashion and realize that if tens of thousands of scientists are saying the same thing, then I can be, relatively
confident. Yep.
Confident that what they're saying is accurate. I mean,
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and he's making a big thing. We did those couple of genetics videos where I was, basically teaching you guys the basics, and he has gone after David and Scott, and the thing is, not everybody is going to sit down and read a lot about genetics. And not everybody's going to be an expert, and well, hell, I don't even know what the hell an expert is when it comes to the field this broad. But but appealing to the experts and join in. And did we lose Andrew? Damn it!
Yep.
Because this is his topic, basically the appeal to experts for a consensus. I mean, every biology book written does not.
Ron, he says in the chat. Okay, you found it. I was just going to bring that up. Yep.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, the average, like for physics or for modern auto mechanics right now, I go to a goddamn mechanic and I don't second guess them.
Yeah.
I don't say, oh no, are you sure that there aren't genies in my carburetor? That basically genies are doing it. I don't really think I need I guess they don't even have fucking carburetors anymore, do they? Anyway, you know what I mean. I mean, it's like you have to, at some point, you have to compel or you have to appeal to the scientific consensus. And it just doesn't make sense. And then when it comes down to him, what he knows is really shallow. And anybody who has basically gone a little bit beyond him can see that. He does this thing that I call speaking in tongues, where he will get a bunch of papers that he's just read and he'll spiel out a bunch of words. I forget, there was one really good example in Smokey's stream where he was complaining about all of us. But he threw out a bunch of words, and each of these words, there were a couple of them that I had to look up because it's, I'd never heard of this before. And so I went and looked it up and found out that he was using the words in the wrong order or using them in the wrong way. That's why we'd never heard of it before. And Immutable sat there and said, yep, because he thought maybe John had a paper, And I mean, should we do that? Why don't we do that for 2 hours on the weather report? Just come up with some fucking bullshit stream of consciousness words that sound technical and sling them together and watch the creationists go to Google and have to do the research to figure out that we were talking shit.
You're going to find that the material that I'm going to send you, that's exactly what it is he's trying to explain the shit, and you can't even understand what the fuck he's even talking about.
Excellent.
So that's exactly what it is. And this in the same topic on all of what we were just talking about, all of this is all in there.
I mean,
about
these
experts
guys.
too. Sorry, John, go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. I thought you had finished. No, what I was going to say is it's so reminiscent of flat earthers, okay? Because like they contend that the scientific community, portions of it, are like there's this conspiracy, okay? Like, and that's what Maddox and these other guys sound like when it comes to evolution, all that. Like that there's some conspiracy to make us believe evolution. Now, just like with the flat Earth thing, like I've told many flat earthers, look, do you realize the millions of people and the hundreds of years that this conspiracy would have had to entail, this many people and this many hundreds of years, if this was all just a false front that space is real and the world is round and all that stuff. And it's the same thing with these anti-evolution people. Is the conspiracy that would have to be going on for science to be putting out misinformation is just beyond a scale that would be possible.
Yeah, and they use the term, you're brainwashed. We're being brainwashed into believing this, right?
Yeah.
That's a typical thing. That they're saying. Yeah.
The thing is, when you think about these conspiracies, like the conspiracy to steal the election from Trump, so can you imagine what kind of an organization it would have to be and how much money they would have to spend to falsify 7 million votes or whatever the hell the margin was? I mean, can you imagine the level of Batman shit they would have to do in order to pull something like that off, and nobody found out about it, right? I mean, to basically get all of these scientists to all writing these papers and doing this fake research. I mean, it's just ridiculous. What in the hell do they think is going on? I mean, who's running these conspiracies? I want to invest in their company.
Yeah.
But damn, that's some really good shit. I mean, if they can pull that off, I don't know.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, you have this false idea that there's a being in the sky who sent his son down to hung on a cross and feed 500 people with one fish and one loaf of bread, and that's been going on for 2,000 years.
I guess it is possible to have a conspiracy that's really ridiculous. I don't know. Get a lot of people to buy into it, but I don't know.
Yeah,
but I don't think they're scientists. I don't know. Anyway, maybe we'll shoot it in the head earlier. What do you think?
Just about that time anyway.
You mean go back in time and shoot it earlier?
Okay, I'm going to sit like a puppy in front of my monitor, panting, waiting for you to send me this link, Dave. I have it like all made out. I just gotta put the link in the email and send it to you. Yep. Okay. I got a lot of homework to do, and my son is gonna walk me. He's getting the leash.
He's getting the leash to walk you.
Yep. And the ball. He likes to throw the ball and watch me jump into the pond after it.
You mean he doesn't take you for a walk and put you on a papoose on his back or his chest?
Oh, no, he wouldn't. No, it would be the opposite. He'd make me pull him in a wagon or something. No, he didn't roll that way.
Germania wants to see a debate between you and Lil Pee-Pee, Speed.
Oh, yeah, I do, too. I do want to see that debate. It'd be fun. Well, there was one, Germania, on Standing for Truth's channel about a year ago. If you look up Speed of Sound and LPP, and I guess John got really freaked out when I said that information is physical, and he couldn't get over it. So the debate never went anywhere. And Standing for Truth kept changing the time of the debate until I was so goddamn tired. I was like spouting. Speaking gibberish myself, but anyway, there was a debate between me and Lil Pee-Pee, and it didn't go too well. It was funny. I thought it was useful, but I don't know.
Lil Pee-Pee.
There'll be another one. I'm sure that someday that he'll grow a pair of breasts and have the nerve to come and meet me on the debate arena. In the debate arena.
Now, are you trying to coin a new phrase that, like, instead of always saying he doesn't have the balls, are you trying to say now that, like, you're using breasts and saying maybe he'll grow the breasts to be able to come? Yeah, okay. I thought that's what you're doing.
Yeah, and instead of saying run away like a little girl, I now say run away like a toddler, because a lot of those little girls are pretty tough. One of them beat me up. In I think it was it was preschool, we didn't have preschool, but it was before I went to school. But I got my ass kicked by a girl.
I mean, shit. Do you know how many women there are out there, professional athletes and the like, that could kick any one of our asses in like a New
I
York?
know. Right. Yep. Yeah. So I'm just trying to coin some new phrases, grow a pair of breasts. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of went off on Jesus is Lord one time over on Richard. The Christian that really has a really kind of odd reading of the Bible, thinking it's a lot of space shit and everything. What's his name? Richard. Pissing me off. If he heard me right now forgetting his name, he'd be kind of pissed off. But Destroying Doctrine, I think, is the name of his channel.
Okay.
Yeah, because Jill at one point, me and him I was going in on him about something because he had like disrespected a woman or something in a stream and wouldn't let her talk
Yep.
And then so I went in on him and I just kept talking and well, am I going to get a chance to talk? Yeah, when I'm done, if I ever get done. And I just kept going and going and going. And then he, made some comment like, you sound just like a woman. And I just went in on for another 5 minutes. Well, why is that a pejorative? Why is that supposedly an insult? I sound like a woman? Yeah, how many women are out there that I respect that are more accomplished than I am? I mean, you're using it as a pejorative. Why is that a pejorative? Like, it's like,
yeah, I know.
Kind of going back to grade school.
Yeah, I'm just tired of that kind of talk, and I'm just trying to change the way I think and the way I talk. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's time. It's time. Some of the shit I've seen. Anyway, guys, I think we're going to shoot her in the head. What do you think?
Well, real quick, Speed. So if your son plays a nice trick on you, are you going to get snuffly with him?
Oh, yeah, I'll get all snuffly. Yeah.
Get all snuffly? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I jump on him. I slobber on him, too, man.
There you go.
He hates that.
Yeah.
He hates that.
He pretends he does.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Ready?
Sure.
Ready to shoot her in the head.
Yep.
Goodbye, cruel world.